So recently, my daughter and I have created this little tradition. At the end of the day, after my son is being put to bed by my wife, my daughter and I curl up on the couch together, and she's been watching me play games on my Nintendo Switch. It started by just like one night, I was like, hey, do you want to go and sit on the couch? We can watch something together. I'm going to play Nintendo. And she immediately was like, once I started, she turned off the TV and she goes, Dad, I can't focus, right? And then she started watching me play video games. Well, that one night turned into another night, and over these past couple of weeks, it has turned into our little nightly thing we do together. She watches me play on the Switch and cuddles up next to me, and I play some of my favorite games. It's been a really special time, and I think that with all the different news coming out about the Nintendo Switch 2, it's actually triggered a thought in my mind, and so I want to share with that whole thing with you today. So, as of late, I have been kind of going through a restructuring of sorts with my own creativity as well as what I've been playing, one of which has been my kind of intentions of the year with playing video games, challenging myself, and a lot of people in the community have decided to join in, playing through all the Final Fantasy games. But I thought that idea was a great idea and gave myself my own little personal challenge, one that I've been doing on my own time since the beginning of the year, and that is going through all of my favorite games, Mario games. And it is now, we're not even 10 days into the year, and I've completed 5 full Mario games. Now, I can be honest with you, there's some of the beginning titles, but still 5 full Mario games. Starting with Super Mario World 1. Yes, there's a second one technically. Super Mario World 2 is actually Yoshi's Island, but, Super Mario World, one of the greatest, and not the greatest games of all time, talked about it. My daughter, she didn't sit on my lap for all of it. She just sat on my lap for some of it. And the thing about that is that game was the first game she played. She actually calls it Old Mario, and she really, really likes that game a lot. She has gotten pretty good at the first world. As the game progresses, it gets more and more challenging. I mean, challenging for even me. And so it's kind of fun to watch her play that game. But playing Super Mario World was the start of this feeling. And we'll do a quick pause, talk about what we're brewing today. We're brewing the Aeropress. You're going to see a lot more Aeropress this year because my goal is to get so good at Aeropress I could go and compete in an Aeropress competition. I have 3 different Aeropresses, the Go, the regular, and the Big Boy. So today's Aeropress, we're going 15 grams of coffee, followed by 250 grams of water. But first we're going to do a 40-gram Bloom little mixy mix right here. Get everything nice and homogenized. Wait a few seconds. Fill it up to 250. Seal it. Let it sit for 2 minutes. Press it out, and we'll have yourself a cup of coffee. Sound good? Awesome. So after Super Mario World, I was like, all right, let's get ourselves going. And I dabbled a little bit live, right? I've been doing this live, been playing these games, some of them live, some of them not live, over on twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. A great place just to hang out. It's become a place where it's been really, really nice and refreshing and relaxing. I haven't been playing games that are too intense. I did try Marvel Rivals live. I didn't really quite enjoy it. I mean, Marvel Rivals, after playing a game like Super Mario Brothers, like, it's kind of a different vibe. Also, my display is so big at 42 inches, and I sit so close to it that I actually got kind of motion sickness. It was really weird. I've never experienced motion sickness from a video game before, but it was like really, really nauseating. And so I actually had to stop streaming. I was like, okay, we're done streaming today because I was feeling so nauseous. So there's a little peek behind the curtain there. But the 5 games that I finished already are Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers 1, Lost Levels, so that's 3. I finished Super Mario Brothers 2 this morning, just now, and also I played on the, we're good. I was like, wait a second, we're good. On the Game Boy emulator on the Nintendo Switch, I played Super Mario Land 1. Super Mario Land 1 being a game that I actually played with my father quite a bit, in a really interesting game because there's no save file. So that game itself is a 12-level start to finish. If you decide to stop halfway through, it's over. You can't save. You have to start the whole thing over, start the whole run over. It is a very, very challenging game. And the thing with Super Mario Brothers back in the day is the games were insultingly challenging. Insultingly. There was no middle. It is always start to finish. Getting extra lives was very difficult. And each world had 3 levels. Now, here's the crux. All 3 levels have to be completed in order for a game over not to reset your specific run. So if you're in level 2 and you get a game over, you're starting back on level 1 again. If you're in level 3 and you get a game over, you're starting back on level 1 again, especially in those final bosses or whatever you may be doing. So the game itself can get really challenging, and I think that was the length. Now this is the big thing, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I cheated my little tiny pants off, okay? I cheated the heck out of it. If I died, I just did the little reset. Yes, I did do that. And some might say, well, you're not playing the game fully. Guess what? I've already done it fully before on the original consoles themselves. So this time is kind of a trip down memory lane playing through some of these games, and it's really wild. One of the craziest experiences I had with these games was actually yesterday on stream over on twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. I was playing through the Lost Levels, which is technically the actual Super Mario Bros. 2 game that never released in the United States. The Super Mario Bros. 2 game that did release in the United States is a really interesting one because it's a skinned game, but we'll talk about that in a second. But that game, some of the levels, in order to go past areas where the gap was too large to jump, you had to find secret blocks that were hidden. You had to actually jump on enemies that if you didn't jump on them when they first were presented on screen, you actually were not able to do that full run. You would have to die, reset, and try and hope to the maker you were able to hit that freaking jump when you were presented with that enemy that was flying by again. Because there was no going back. There was no side scrolling to the left. It was all to the right, and then the left side would be locked. So as you progress, you're kind of in this spot there. Crazy. And the enemies, it's insulting at times. As I said, like it's very, very like, oh, turn a corner and then you get freaking shoved off of a cliff in Elden Ring. It's very same thing. You're hitting the last pyramid to jump and get the flag. And if you're going too fast, all of a sudden on the right-hand side, boom, you get yourself hit with a Goomba. Very, very challenging. And I was like, this is so cool and so special. I absolutely got Super Mario Bros. Thumb. If you know what that is, Super Nintendo thumb, whatever. It's when you get an indent in your finger from pressing right so hard. And it was fun because over on stream, when I was playing, having a great time with the community, they're just like, you're playing Mario wrong. It's because, I'll be honest, when I play Super Mario Brothers, I speedrun. That's the way I play Super Mario Brothers. I just hold right, jump, it's just the way I grew up playing Super Mario Brothers. I am good at the left-right rocker, and so although Super Mario Brothers itself is one in Lost Levels, those 2 specifically don't have redirectional jumping, which is crazy. And so if you're speeding to the right and you jump and you try to slow him down by pulling back, he doesn't. And so it's a different mechanic. Someone who grew up playing Super Mario World, where you can change the jumping of Mario when you're in the air, that mechanic itself was huge. And so playing Super Mario Brothers 1 and Lost Levels was challenging, to say the least. That's so good. Shout out to my Aeropress gang. Everyone should own an Aeropress. It's just a spectacular little thing. So I've been playing these games again at night. I've been playing them live on stream, twitch.tv/JDXCoffee, and I will be playing them and continuing. We're almost getting to the 3D games now. All I have left is Super Mario Brothers 3, that'll take a couple days of a stream, and then I'm into Mario 64. Also, been playing a little bit of Mario Sunshine on the side. These games, which I've been sharing these moments with my daughter, have been this reminder that there is a history here with Nintendo. There's a history in this franchise. And something that's so special that I think excites me about whatever's to come is that Nintendo doesn't have to do much. They really don't. They have figured it out since day one. They already figured it out. And I think that's something that I am learning myself, especially in this content creation space. Day one, intuitive decision making from the get-go. We always learn how to refine, but really when it comes to just life in general, we have an aspect, a part of us that's been created that is intuitive in its own right. It is there to guide us. Whatever you want to call that thing, I will tell you, it is there to make good decisions. Now, we make bad decisions at time, I understand that, but true gut, these emotional decisions, maybe in some ways, not emotional, but more like these core decisions we make, like this is correct 9 times out of 10. You know when they say go with your gut or always trust your instinct? Like these things are there for a reason. Much like myself in this journey, I started this place talking about Nintendo and touching base on a little bit on PlayStation because it was off to the side on my floor in my old our old home. But it was always like this. There's this special Nintendo thing going on. Now, not making any announcements here. Don't worry. But there was this thing, this magic that existed already. And here I am back in now in 2025, beginning of 2025. I've spent all year playing original Mario content, and I've had the best viewership that I've had my whole career on Twitch, right? And if you want to be a part of the streams, you know where to go. There's on TV/GDX Coffee. And the big thing that I'm realizing is the same thing that Nintendo is doing. Now, we've seen over this past week everything about the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, anything except for the thing being turned on. We practically know what is going on. There's been a breakdown of specs based on a motherboard that was shown. We pretty much have the Nintendo Switch 2 fully developed, fully talked about, and fully released in rumor form. No more tiny itty bitty rumors, like full-blown rumors. And everything that I see, everything I hear, everything that I am watching and noticing, and yes, I am obsessed with the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. I am obsessed with them. Everything I see is going back to form. And I think that this is the most special thing, because what Nintendo does, and when they do it right, it's when they take their special something and they decide we are just going to make that better. That is it. We're not going to add anything crazy. We're not going to do anything wild. We're not going to make motion sick, retina burning Virtual Boy. We're not going to try this weird dual system Wii U. We are going to stick to what we know. We know experience and we know charm. This is what we know. No other company out there can do experience and charm like Nintendo can. And what I'm seeing with the Switch 2 is exactly what I'm feeling with what I'm playing with Mario, right? We are having this experience where Super Mario Brothers 1, great experience. I'm playing it on Super Mario All-Stars, which is a better experience, better skinned over. Super Mario Brothers and the Lost Levels. It's just more of the same goodness. Super Mario Brothers 2, very interesting. And I want to say, now that I've completed it fully for the first time, I will say this. Super Mario Brothers 2 is probably one of the most slept on games out there. That game is actually, I'm going to say it, good. It's good. It's very good. Is it top 5 Mario games of all time? Probably not. But it is worth a play. It's 20 levels, not even 24 like we usually get. It is really bizarre, and all of the enemies are weird. I mean, we get really, really comfortable with the Shy Guys here and the bizarre nose gas mask dudes. You also get introduced to the Bob-Ombs for the first time, and all of the enemies, with the exception of Birdo, is something that's kind of weird. A giant frog for the last part, and I'm going to spoil the ending for you. Okay? If you don't like spoilers, plug your ears in 3, 2, 1, 4, 5 seconds, okay? 5 seconds. Here we go. I'm going to put my hand up on the screen so you guys can see the 5 seconds happen. It's a dream. It's a dream. There, I said it. It's like the weirdest ending. The weirdest ending. Shout out to Link's Awakening, I suppose. But hey, this idea, this thing, it's just they iterate. Now, Super Mario Brothers 2, risky moves. You know. Some people like it, some people don't. And then we get to Super Mario World, which is just chef's kiss of a Super Mario game. Honestly, this is chef's kiss. But these moments I've been sharing with my daughter have been so special because it's this moment that I get to kind of do this thing and do what my dad did. I used to do this with my dad. I used to sit next to him and watch him agonizingly play through Super Mario Land. Now, he wasn't playing the way I'm playing, dude. He's not a master at the thumbs, dude. He wasn't ripping through Mario levels like it's Sonic, dude. He wasn't able to just mash fools the way that I can. My dad's not that kind of guy. Now, could he get through the game? Absolutely. Was he inspiring in his own right at the time? Yes. But he wasn't shredding Goombas and ripping Koopas like this boy is, dude. It's almost criminal how devastating I am on the D-pad. It's almost criminal. Not quite. These nights are some of my favorite moments in the day. When my wife goes, okay, I'm going to go put our son to sleep. And my daughter goes, Dad, let's go on the couch and let's play games. I'm like, yes. Because I'm not just playing old titles. I'm sharing a love of a franchise, the Mario franchise, with my daughter. I'm sharing the love for a type of game, platformers, for a experience with Nintendo. I'm sharing this moment with my daughter that is not just understood by me, but also understood by her. Last night, we were playing through Super Mario Brothers 2, and it was so cute. There's a point, so Mario has hearts in this one, and so there's 3 hearts. If you get a mushroom, you always have 2 hearts. But if you get a mushroom, there's a 3rd heart. And while you're playing through the level randomly, I don't know if it's because of something that happens, slowly a heart will start to float up. And then if you have a depleted heart, you can get that heart. It fills you up, right? Same thing happens with stars. There's no question mark blocks, and so there's no coin collecting. The coin collecting is actually for the end of the level. There's a roulette machine that happens, and that's how you gain extra lives. And so you can do some coin collecting through secret potion doors. Not the point. The floating hearts, my daughter saw the floating heart happen. She goes, Dad, I get the heart. And I was like, okay, I'll get the heart. And she goes, Dad, if the floating heart comes up, you can stop and get it. You should. It's good for you. And any time a floating heart showed up, she would, Dada, if the floating heart comes up, you should stop and get it. It's good for you. And it wasn't this understanding that the heart is going to help. It was this cute phrase that she said every time in my ear, because her face was laying on my face. Her cheek was on my cheek, sweating. Just sweat into my beard. I don't know how it was comfortable for her. It was just cheek on my... So imagine playing the game with your face smashed like this, in her hair, her curly hair just on my eye, just like brushing it off the whole time. Like, it was bliss, dudes. Bliss, right? This moment, so special. Getting emotional. So special over a game made 30 years ago. All Nintendo has to do this year is release a device that can not just play their games that they've already released well, but give experiences like what we've had over these past 30 years. There's no other console in my life that has granted me better memories, better access, better gaming than my Nintendo gaming devices throughout the years. There's nothing that exists on the market for me. What's been so powerful about these moments is not that I'm playing games with my daughter and she's watching. It's that I'm sharing experiences with her. I can't do that with other things, right? She's watched me play Balatro. She's watched me play Final Fantasy on my device. It's funny, actually. She's seen some commercials for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and she sat on my lap for hours of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Hours that weren't more intense in battle. And so she'll see Cloud. She goes, Dad, look, it's Cloud. I like Cloud. He's a good guy. And I'm like, yes, that is Cloud. That's funny you would say that. And so she's been experienced some of these games to a certain extent with me, but when she watches me play Final Fantasy VII, Balatro, any of these games on either my PC, my PlayStation 5 at the time, or my Steam Deck, she's watching. She's observing. When she watches some of these other games, Mario, stuff like that, the interaction is different. Because she's not only played a Mario game before, which is so special, There's a part of her that feels like she is helping Dada get that heart. Dad, make sure that you get that star. It helps. Hey, go this way. No, jump over here. See, look, that was, you were supposed to do that. There's a part where she's experiencing it with me. This is the magic. This is the special sauce. This is what the Switch 2 needs to be. The Switch 2 doesn't need to be some graphically intensive, hyper upscaling thing that runs 120 frames per second and is, for some reason, a 1440p display, which none of those things are rumored to be true. None of them. All it needs to be is it needs to be a stable, more comfortable, I would say, device, adequately priced so that we can share with our families, that can play last gen and older titles as well as play future gen titles well. That is it. Sure, Nintendo is seeded to have Call of Duty on it. I don't know if anyone's going to try to get Call of Duty on their Nintendo Switch. I don't know why they would, but whatever you do, I think you should get a ROG Ally X or maybe the Lenovo Legion Go S or whatever you may just... Okay, I don't know why. Sure, it can play some of these maybe next-gen titles, but Nintendo never really needed to focus on that. At least certainly not in these past few years. Nintendo-only gamers do exist out there, but I would argue that most of those people are playing titles that run well on the device and aren't trying to stretch it to play some of these big AAAs. If you are, and you're like, no, dude, I'm like Doom Eternal only on my Nintendo Switch. And I know that game runs well, but like, I have to play Guardians of the Galaxy Cloud Edition on my Switch. I have to, right? Let me know in the comments. Nintendo does their best work when they are doing their work. And it is kind of like my Apple experience. Apple runs best when you're running Apple hardware and Apple software together. When you're trying to do, get around different PC stuff or booting into Windows or whatever, it's just not going to be a good experience. But when it comes to the Switch 2, when it comes to gaming with my kid or your kids, if you're gaming with your own kids, if you're taking this as like a personal thing, when it comes to that, I think really what I'm looking for in this next generation from Nintendo is more of the same. I don't need more gimmicks. I don't need a better this. I don't need extra features. Sure. I mean, there's rumors that there's like, why is there an optical thing? I don't know. All this stuff. But what I see when I look at the rendered images, not even rendered, the hardware that exists, the pictures, and I'll tell you this right now, I've had companies reach out to me with really weird cryptic emails where they're naming other devices, but they're highlighting it in blue and red. And then they're saying, hey, look at the colors to understand what we're talking about. Literally coding emails saying, we want to send you products. Would you like to receive them when we're allowed to? Like, yeah, I guess companies are being like careful, but not careful. I'm like, yes, please send me all of the products for these other handhelds when you can. So I'm signed up to review like 3 or 4 different companies' products when it comes to the handheld devices that are coming out in the future. I am so elated to see what's going to happen. Not because I need the Switch 2, not because I need the Switch 1 to be better currently. It's that when the Switch 2 releases, it's going to pump so much life into something that already has so much life. These past 5 games I've shared with my daughter, with the community online over on Twitch, have been so special, not because it's a nostalgic bomb, no, but because it's a reminder of where things started. It's a reminder of it can be simple. It's a reminder that there was a time in gaming history where we didn't look for what's next. Rather, we just experienced what was right before us. This is what I'm excited for. I'm not excited because the Switch 2 is rumored to have better whatever, fill in the blank, or that the motherboard has this, and this, so that means it can do this. That's not what I'm excited for. I'm excited for a little bit better ergonomics, maybe. I'm mostly excited because when the Switch 2 releases, we can stop worrying about hardware and we can get back to worrying about games. This is what is the most exciting for me. And this is something that I'm looking forward to, that I plan on certainly covering and talking about, because those experiences I will be sharing with my family, because I am a family man and I game with my family. Those things are things I'll talk about here. Also over on twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. If you're interested in joining in on the live streams, they're done in the morning times. And those are things that I do with the community. I talk, hang out, we have a good time. Try some games here and there, play some PC gaming from time to time. This is exactly what it's there for, is to try stuff, to do good things, to do new things, all that stuff. Don't know what I'm saying. Haven't drank enough coffee today. It's early. Today, I'm going to Disneyland with my family. You want to know something crazy? I'm going to Disneyland with my family today to meet up with another friend with their family who doesn't live here in this state that I live in, that I met through Discord, all based on video games. I met this guy playing Mario Kart on one live stream once. We became fast friends, close friends, best friends, and now our families are going to Disneyland together. That's the power of gaming. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Play more. Be kind. See you.